Okay, I have something a little different for you. This is a clan match fought between huntsmen and wolves, and representing huntsmen in this battle are myself. My name is jmartin. I'm the Prussian player on the right here, and my partner on the left is the smooth voice of huntsman. This is Rattue, who has a YouTube channel called Rattue498, which is excellent. And I imagine if you're watching my videos, then you've seen his too. They're quite good. Quite good. And we're both Prussia. And if I slow down here just a little bit, where are they at? Where are they at? There they are. Our opponents, here they are. From the Wolves clan, opposite me is Malfred, and opposite Rattue is Scipii. I'm not sure I'm saying that correctly. But they're both French. And I have a thing to throw out to you here. Here's my thoughts on this matchup. Because France versus Prussia seems to be like the majority of the games that occur. Okay, and the way I think this matchup works is Prussia has better light infantry. Okay, much better light infantry actually. French light infantry sucks. However, France has better line infantry than Prussia, or at least they can. You have the option to bring, old guards and everything like that. So the way it breaks down is generally because Prussia has the ranged advantage because they have better light infantry. If you're the French player, there's an onus on you to get in and attack, because if you let the Prussian player sit back and pepper you from a distance with their lights, you're going to get rolled up pretty damn quick. That's sort of the short version of my France versus Prussia theory. And when I play France, if I'm playing against the guy who's Prussia, I bring like 0 or 2 light infantry maybe, because they just aren't going to do anything. And if you have lights, then you're going to trick yourself into thinking, well, maybe we'll try the light skirmish a little bit. And it just does not work. It does not work. And I think this battle is a pretty good reflection of that theory. While this game is going on, I'm going to focus more on what I do. I had my hands busy. This is a really good game. These guys are really good players. And so I'm not real clear on what Rattue does. He's obviously moving his lights sort of on the right side of his opponent's line. But I'm going to pay more attention maybe to what I'm doing, because I can have some intelligent things to offer about it. But I'm going to peek back over there throughout the course of it, I think. What my opponent's doing is initially they both ran to the middle a little bit, and my opponent's going to do something here that I don't really recommend. Sorry. What I wanted to add is back to the light on light thing. So Prussian lights are better. Now my opponent, you'll notice, has 4 Voltigas, and he's put 3 chevrons on each of them. Now, what I think that means is that he recognizes that his light infantry aren't as good, and so he's trying to sort of put some duct tape on that problem by just slapping chevrons on his volts. I don't think this works. Now, because what the chevrons mean is that those volts are going to stick around a little bit longer, but I don't think it overcomes the structural disadvantage that my guys are reload a little faster, have pretty much the same accuracy, but 90 men on a unit to his 60 men on a unit. So I kind of want to say good idea, but I'm not really sure it's a solution. What's happening on my side is, because they're going real narrow, I'm just going to whip around on the flank right there, and I start moving lights into position. Now, there's his lights pop back up. I hate how in replays the lights aren't there. And Rattue seems to be doing the same thing. He's going to get his lights just in the skirmish game, and I think both of us are, frankly, just pretty comfortable with that. You'll notice that Malfred on my side moves some of his volts over to maybe double team on Rattue's. Eventually I get my shit together and get my lights up to support his. Bad teamwork with there. I think eventually I get it together. And it is taking me a while to get into position. One of the little problems, there we go, see I moved my lights. One of the problems we had is that, because my guy ran, is I had to walk farther to get to my guy than Rattue did, so Rattue wound up, I mean, look at that volt unit is down to already half strength, and Rattue has taken 4 casualties. I mean, oh, it's ridiculous. Oh, point man, bad timing. Hold on. Doing a replay. Okay, so we're back. So what's happening is, in the middle, the light engagement has started, and this is just isn't fair now. Rattue's opponent kind of recognizes that he's going to lose this, I think, so moves his line of trip, and that doesn't work either. You can't just move up like this, because all that's going to happen is Rattue's lights are going to keep shooting at you. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, and I mean, if Rattue has even the slightest hint that he's losing, well, he can just move his line of tree up. I mean, you, if you're a French player against the Prussian, you cannot afford to sit back and just let that happen. What goes on my side is my opponent does the bend or the hinge. Don't do this. I think that him doing this causes him a lot of problems because when I shoot, a lot of those bullets are going straight back and hitting this unit here and this unit here. And when he wraps up like that, you know, I'm just getting essentially 2-for-1 targeting. 2-for-1 targeting. And I don't really recommend doing that at all. And you can see over here that Rattue's opponent has kind of realized that he needs to be more active. Rattue ups the ante with a cav charge here. It'd be nice if he had another light infantry over here. Look at that big gob of cav. Oh, I remember this when we were playing this game. Rat mentioned, just like, man, my guy just bum rushed me on the left. That must be what he's talking about. Well, that's 4 reserve line and 2 reserve cav. So Rat does have a problem there. I didn't realize that when that was going on, that was happening to him. Over on my flank, my guy is kind of retreating, and again, I'm getting to shoot through the volts into the back of his other units. The same thing is happening right here. I mean, that unit's already had 10 casualties. There's another 10 casualties. There's another 10 casualties. So I'm depleting his line units really well, just with my lights shooting at him. You can't do that. If you do that, you're going to have problems. Eventually, I get my line units up, and I think I cav charge a couple times here. I believe that I win this flank for 2 reasons. A, the superiority of my light fire getting through there, and then B, my cav work was a little bit better than his. I mean, I used my cav to create advantage for my infantry, or I had better coordination between my cav and my infantry. I think I also just had more cav too, and this is a really good charge right here because that completely disrupts like 2 units from firing. I think it maybe finishes off those volts, yeah. And once I get a preponderance of fire advantage on that Seaman and the old guard there, once these 2 units go, it's going to be open season on this guy. I'm actually doing better with getting my Lancers to retarget. My Lancers there disrupted 2 units. He countercharged, obviously. Not the ideal use of your cav. It winds up being pretty close on this side of the battle. It is a close firefight, and I wind up edging it out, I think, arguably because of the time and square that my guys bought me. And you can see here I'm devoting the Lancer to further disrupt the old guard. I think if I can win right there, that things will go really well for me. Across the line, Rat's having a little bit of problem because he's getting super outnumbered. He's obviously pulling his Lancers in to deal with these shooter cav. Really good move. If you let those shooter cav sit on your flank like that, you're going to have a problem. And I think that Rat here is realizing the difficulty that he's in, and so he pulls back. And it looks like these Lancers are going to be pretty successful at disorganizing the shooter cav. I do want to give a shout out to him. I didn't realize it turns out I think that Rat wound up taking on maybe 1 or 2 extra units on his side. I think that he was primarily engaged with 1 or 2 units of Malfred's army that was otherwise my responsibility to deal with. And I didn't realize that at the time, so extra GG to him for that. Gold star. Gold star. And I was kind of making a mistake. I had my line too far back, and eventually I realized I have a big firepower advantage here. I can double up my lights in my line, so eventually I get my line of tree in action there. And you can see that look at that chain route. Eventually, Malfred put up a really good fight against me, but I think just eventually I was able to grind him out. And once I get the mini chain route there, and I start to route these units here, Do I pull back? Do I form? Yeah, I get in a square, but I let him chew up my Fusilier. The battle on our side was pretty much a grind, and it's one that I eventually won. I think that this is probably not the best use of his cav right here. He charged 2 cav into the same unit. Eventually, I think he breaks them out and tries to chase my general. Almost successful with that, I believe. Although I might be confusing games. He also catches my lancers mid-charge here, so. Um, Regardless, I don't think it really matters at this point. The extra firepower just lets me rupture the middle of this guy's line completely. And again, I just grind him out on this side. The only real problem I have is if these 2 cav units can sort of miraculously mow down about 6 or 7 units, but it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And so the terminal end of my game is after I rupture, the stretch of his line. There's not a whole lot he can do. I think he tries to get creative with his general staff there, but it's only a matter of time. And I should have formed square there a little earlier. I didn't really get around to it. When this happens, I'm able to shift units over to help Rattue, and Rattue has done a really great job over here. I maybe should have switched over to this side, but he's done a really great job here of stabilizing. I think he threw a bunch of his cav in to stabilize the situation, and there was a real danger, I think, for Rattue. I think if his opponent had been a bit more creative in the use of his infantry and getting them to shoot, that might have gone poorly for him. But he able to pull it out with some nice work to control things that were going here on the left side. And dog's going crazy. And I think that the terminal end of this battle, or this battle, illustrates the principles I was talking about earlier. If you are playing as France against a Prussian player, the matchup is heavily weighted against you unless you attack. If you sit back, they will eventually outfirepower you, and that's exactly what I did. This on my end of the battlefield, there wasn't a lot of clever maneuvering. I just ran my lights up and shot. And if you let the Prussian player do that to you, and the Prussian player knows what they're doing, this is how this game will wind up every time. I mean, you will just get ground out bit by bit. You'll get poked to death, and I think that all I did, really, I didn't do anything interesting. I just kind of poked him to death and sent in lancers every now and then to keep the guy disorganized. And as long as I can prevent my opponent from doing anything interesting, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to wear him down. And especially when he formed that curve in his line that really foreclosed any possibility that he had of maybe outflanking me or whatever. And I think once he made that turn in his line, that when you get right down to it, his fate was sealed. There wasn't a whole lot of good that was going to come out of that. But anyway, this is the end of the game, and that's Rattue trying to finish off his opponent. I'm just trying to walk my guys over to get there, but I don't think Rattue needs my help. I think he takes care of this guy fine. I think these are my lancers coming in to take out this general who has 3. Why does the general have 3 chevrons? I wonder if he earned those or slapped those on there. I don't know. But anyway, I get in there, and I think the only assist that I really give Rattue is that late lancer charge there, which is kind of irrelevant. It didn't really change anything. And yeah, that's what happens. Rattue's got this guy wrapped up pretty good. All he has to do really is chase him down. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I want to say great game to the Wolves, guys. Thanks for playing with us, and thanks for Rattue for getting me in the game, and good to represent the Huntsman side in a match that kind of mattered a little bit. I don't know. It was fun. It was a casual game, obviously. Nothing on the line there, but it was good to get out in support of the home team. And I don't think we made terrible asses out of ourselves, so I think maybe that was a success there. But anyway, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for everybody who played, and you can check out more information at tdreplays.com.